We got Alias X. If Retro called you right now and said you were to create the music for Metroid Prime 4, what would you do? Would it be more metal, atmospheric, a mix of both? And I'm gonna throw in neither. Doom, you're the resident music guy, so I'm gonna actually let you go second here because I'm not gonna go too crazy in depth on mine or anything like that. Personally, I feel like striking the balance of the ambient moody kind of Metroid Prime and then like the deeper like depths kind of tracks that are a bit more bumpy and dancey and like kind of get you going. That mix that Metroid Prime has and the other games too, but especially Metroid Prime, I want that. And I would also not mind throw in something that feels a bit more real instrumental or orchestral or something. Maybe even a metal track. I'm down for a mixture as long as tonally it all makes sense together. But I would hate for Metroid Prime to feel locked in to one or the other. Would I love a real, like a full instrumental Metroid Prime soundtrack? Hell yeah, absolutely. A full metal one, absolutely. I'd also be down for that. I don't know. I'd have a hard time choosing. I feel like boss themes. Give me like crazy orchestral, like awesome themes there, but also give me the cool Metroid Prime bops and atmospheric stuff too. Doom, what would you think? Retro calls you right now. What would you do? What's your call? Music director. What is your call?
Well, after I finish the previous 10 minutes hypervenilating, I would
Yeah.
respond with, why are you hiring me and not Kenji Yamamoto? First off,
Okay. Kenji's not available.
it's not
Mr. Yamamoto's not available.
it's not a bit. He's on vacation. He's on
Yeah.
sabbatical. No, what I would do, honestly, like, obviously, Yamamoto-san is a huge, inspiration of why I decided to pursue, a music engineering degree in the first place. And, that Metroid Prime soundtrack, like, obviously I would want to take it in my own direction, but like I would very much be drawing from that inspiration. And,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm going to be plugging my Metroid Prime soundtrack analysis video that I released during the anniversary. So you can check that out if you want a more in-depth analysis. But basically, the um the core fundamental that makes Metroid music, but especially the Metroid Prime soundtrack, like so ahead of its time, is it carves this fine line between the diegetic and non-diegetic realms of interpretation by the player. And basically, the concept of diegesis, for those who don't know, is basically is non-diegetic sounds are sounds that only the audience can hear that a character in the movie cannot hear. So, like for example, you're watching Star Wars and you hear the title crawl. That's non-diegetic. Luke doesn't hear that. Vader, Leia, they don't hear the title crawl. That's just for us, the audience. But meanwhile, the cantina scene, the music that plays there, that is diegetic because not only does the audience hear that, but that's something that's happening in the universe. That's something, Luke, Ben, Han, all the characters in there, they can all hear that. That's live music happening in universe. And obviously, the music of Metroid Prime is technically non-diegetic, but it incorporates so many synth patches and sample libraries that almost sound like they're interpreting the world around it. And it's what makes the character feel like a narrative device. It what melds the two together, and it's why there's so nothing, no other game was doing anything like that at the time, and even today, like so few games do it the way Metroid Prime does it. And to me, like that's what makes Metroid music in general so unique. That's a huge reason why I was largely disappointed in Dread's soundtrack because it pretty much abandoned that with a couple of exceptions here and there. And I definitely would be incorporating that philosophy. That would be my highest priority when doing the soundtrack for Prime 4 personally.
Okay, so you do a Metroid Prime soundtrack. Is what your answer is.
I definitely would be have a lot of inspiration, but again, like I would be looking at the music and I would be trying to ride that fine line between diegetic and non-diegetic.
Okay,
That would be my biggest goal for the
got it.
music.
Got it. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. I would love to keep that same style that Metro Prime's already got, but hey, throw in like I'm down for a guitar solo or a sick,
I mean,
you know.
Echoes is my favorite soundtrack, and there's a little bit of guitar thrown in that soundtrack.
Hmm.
Prime 3 has some guitar as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I think of like the Prime 3 like opening like menu like main theme too, which has that like grandiose
Hmm
feel to it. I love that kind of stuff too. Good question. Good question.